Lived here in these two rooms for about almost 6 years, from 1959 to 1965. And of course, none of us were here at that time. But then when Prabhupada returned back in 1970, then he showed his disciples, this is my rooms. And from that time, they've continually been, there was some rent agreement Prabhupada had with the Radha Damodar temple. So these rooms were always in the possession of Prabhupada and ISKCON devotees. Um, and then in recent years, it's been like directly, the whole Goswami family of Radha Damodar has, these are permanently Prabhupada's rooms. So, Sri Prabhupada is showing them the samadhi like of Jiva Goswami, as we just saw. And there's Prabhupada's sannyas picture, the Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Goswami Maharaj. And so Srila Gurudev has told us, because he used to come here after Prabhupada moved from the Keshavji Gaudiya Math in Mathura to Vrindavan. First he stayed at another place called the Vamshi Gopal Temple, not so far from here. Then after some time, then he got these two rooms. And Gurudev told that in those few years, Srila Prabhupada was living just very, very simple. He didn't even have sitting mats. So Gurudev told that he would come and he would take his chadar off and put it on the floor, and they would sit together and they would talk. But they would also go into the kitchen together. And Gurudev remembers how they would cook prasadam, but they also would take chapatis. They would make chapatis. And it's very interesting that Srila Prabhupada would roll the chapatis and then hand them, and then he would put them on the fire and puff them up. So that's exactly what Prabhupada has done with us. Prabhupada has rolled us, given us to Srila Narayan Maharaj, and he is now helping us too. So I've been here a number of times when Gurudev has stood there facing the temple room, not here in the room, there. He stood there and he told us the story to all the devotees who were with him. He told us the story of how he used to come here. So this room is a most exalted place. This is where Srila Prabhupada typed out on his little typewriter the whole first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. That's why you see he's writing, but he didn't have any table and all of that. He just had a trunk and he had his typewriting. So he worked very, very hard, and in that 3-year period of, 63, 64, 65. No, but like from 62. Then he translated, wrote the purport, and then he brought this to the printers in Delhi. And he kept going back and forth between Delhi and here. And Prabhupada at that time, he utilized some program that the Indian government had to give paper for persons who didn't have, enough money to print. So the government donated this paper, which is very rough quality paper. And that's what he printed his first Srimad Bhagavatam, on that paper. And we when we were new devotees, I told, we were reading from those very same Bhagavatams that were printed here in India. We were reading those. So those are a very great treasure. 3 volumes, 1, 2, 3. And Prabhupada put them on the ship to bring to America. He had a number of trunks of books. And he kind of, he went around to all the bookshops and places, wherever he could. He tried to distribute books, to sell them the books. So this is the place where the incredible mercy of Prabhupada working so hard to give us the Srimad Bhagavatam. And it all started right here in this room. So Prabhupada, here's some quotation. I used to have it on the wall, where Prabhupada says, I eternally reside in my rooms at Radha Damodar. Yeah, on the other side. Yeah. What time now?
9:06.
Alright, so now we'll walk back to our temple, Group Sanatana. We'll have breakfast there. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Savior of the whole world, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi